Have you been considering jumping into the e-commerce and Amazon space for months or years, but something's holding you back? You know it works, but something is stopping you from pulling the trigger. Or it could just be what it usually is lack of knowledge. You hear all these things on social media like, okay, this person made this much money, but this person lost money, and you're really not sure if it's for you. Generally speaking, it's just because you don't know exactly what to do. So in this video, I'm gonna be going over exactly what you do to not only launch your Amazon FBA business, but really get it scaled up to a point where it's bringing significant income on the side or as a primary source of income like myself. Before we do that, I gotta get into the most important thing. How does Amazon FBA work, and is it still a market worth getting into? So I'm going to jump over here and actually show you what's going on in this ecosystem as of 2025 so you can make a decision to see if it's the right business model for you. Sold over $30 million on Amazon myself with my two partners, so it's been a long journey for the past 5 years, but it's been a very profitable and fun one. I do this to help those who have been in my shoes where you're really not sure which way to go in the business, so make sure to hit that button. So the first thing we need to talk about is Amazon still worth it in 2025? That's probably what was holding you back in the first place, this exact question. I'm going to show you an article from Macro Trends. So it says here that Amazon in a quarter, $158 billion in 2024 and had an 11% increase year over year. Amazon averages about $1.6 billion per day. What you want to do in a year is a spec what they do in a day. That's huge. But what's the real important part here? It's the 11% increase. This market is still growing at such a rapid rate, even at this size. Look outside your neighbor's house. All you see is Amazon packages everywhere, right? More and more people continue to buy products online. This market is not oversaturated. You just need to know what you're doing, and it continues to grow, which means your business grows. You get to ride that wave up with the rest of the market. You have that peace of mind because you know Amazon is a staple in the e-commerce space here in the US and continues to grow. First thing you're going to need is your Seller Central account. This is what is going to allow you to actually sell products on Amazon. This is the back end of Amazon. Manage your inventory, get paid out from Amazon, which you need, which is mandatory. Everything you need to actually manage your account is going to be in the back end of this. But before you open up your Seller Central account at sell.amazon.com, what you're going to need is a business entity. Have a business entity. Protect yourself. And when we talk about some of the other business models, you're actually going to want it because if you're talking to distributed suppliers, they do businesses with businesses, not consumers. You can do it by yourself, right? Which may cost you about $150, $170. But I usually recommend using a third-party service, especially if you're new, first time doing it. I prefer busy.com. That's what I recommend for most people. It's going to cost you about $250 to $270 to get it in motion, but it can be done within about 7 to 10 days. Once you have this open and they handle all of the tough work for you, now you open your business bank account. You have different business bank accounts. You're going to have one for your operating expenses, your profit, your taxes, everything that you need to break your business up into different bank accounts makes it really easy to move the money. From here, you're going to be able to start inputting certain things like your business information. You're going to need ID verification, so a passport or driver's license works. So any of those, and then you'll be able to start selling on Amazon and you'll be good to go. Next thing, you have to pick the business model you want. So there are 3 business models that work on Amazon for selling product, and they each have their own benefits and cons. Number 1 is going to be something called retail arbitrage, which is you might have seen people walking around a Nike store or a Walmart or a Target, scanning products, seeing that it sells some more on Amazon, buying as many units as they can, going home, prepping products, and making some money. Great model if you're on a lower budget, because let's think about it. You are still having to walk around stores or check retail sites to actually buy stuff. You're still trading time for dollars. It's not really a business yet because it's not something that can operate without you. It still needs you as the cog in the wheel. Retail arbitrage works for people on lower budgets, around $1,500 or less, because you can start generating some income and seeing some profits, but it's very difficult to scale this model. In addition, you're buying at a retail price and selling at a retail price, so your profit margin is going to be lower. Final con, you can't take advantage of the most important part of what I think about Amazon is the volume. If your product can sell 1,000 units a month, you can't go to a store and buy 1,000 units. You're going to buy like 10 or 20. You're going to be out of stock, and you're going to be like, I want to make some more money, but this damn store don't have it. It's not working. That's why retail arbitrage is great while you're building up your capital. But once you have 3,000 or more, you should get into something like wholesale or private label. Let's talk about those two. First, you have private label, which is creating your own brand. Like if you see protein powder, you're like, man, I can make a better protein powder. You go and create your own version of it. You get it manufactured. Supplements are usually in the US, but hard goods are usually done in China. You wait, you get samples, you create a brand, a logo, you take product listings, and you start selling it. And now you're paying money for advertising. You're doing a lot of upfront work, and you're taking an inherent risk because no one's ever heard of your brand. Like it's a brand new brand. So what if they don't buy it, or what if a competitor comes in at a cheaper price, better product? product. While I do private label and I love private label, I think it's a great model, I do think it's a much riskier model for people just jumping into e-commerce. And that's why we land on wholesale. This is what we've been doing for years, in addition to some private label, but mostly wholesale. So very similar to retail arbitrage, where you're selling products that people already know, love, and trust. But instead of walking around stores, we get them from distributors and suppliers. We're able to place our orders with just an email, a text, or a phone call. So we're very remote. All you need is a laptop and a phone to run this business model. But you can prep your own product. I'm not gonna talk about that in this video. I'm actually gonna link another video that goes into it. My partner showing how to prep a product, but I'm not doing it. I don't prep products. I haven't prepped it for 5 years, and I don't plan on it. And most people who want to be remote and scalable, you shouldn't be doing it either. That's why we do the wholesale model. We get at wholesale prices, so we make higher profit margins than retail arbitrage, but we stay scalable and take less risk because we don't need to do marketing and launch brands that people have never heard about before. So now we know different business models. You can decide which one is best suited for you. Now what you have to do is actually find a product. Let's go to Amazon. Let me show you some tools here, and we're looking at a protein powder. So when you're looking at a product on Amazon, you're gonna want a few Google Chrome extensions. The one I have right here is Zen is the one that I personally prefer. So when you're looking at a product on Amazon, just to kind of piggyback on, people always say, what product should I buy? Pick anything. Everything makes money. But the categories that we focus on are replenishable product. I'm talking about stuff that people buy month after month, year after year. Electronics, clothing, jewelry have too high return rates. And that's why we pick stuff like supplements, beauty product, grocery, and pet products, because they have low return rates. People buy month after month. So there's a lot of consistency in the business. Just looking at this protein powder, there were a few ways you could go about this, right? You could have got it from a retail location, retail arbitrage. You could have built your own, done all this packaging, labeling, taking all these beautiful pictures with the flowers in front of them, all of that stuff. Or I could have said, hey, what we doing wholesale? I see this protein powder. Let me go get it from a wholesale supplier. Let me start reselling it. When you have a tool like this, it's going to give you some data. So it's going to give you something called BSR, which is your best seller rank. This is a ranking that Amazon has for every major category. So this category right here is health and household. And the closer that number is to 1, the more units it sells in that category. A number like this with 3 digits is phenomenal, but anything under 100,000 is what we play ball with. So we have our BSR. We see the estimated monthly sales are 13,856. So great. This one singular product by itself does $623,000 a month. That's cool. If we could jump on this, there are 4 other FBA sellers. They might not all be what we call competitive. Competitive means that they're within 3% of what the lowest price is. So whoever's competitive, meaning they're within this $44.99, within 3% of this, they're going to be sharing the buy box. And the buy box does something called rotate. Sometimes the guy in the buy box right now, the brand Jocko Fuel will get it. Sometimes the other sellers, as long as they're competitive price, will get it. And it's going to keep sharing the sales. Most important. Some other factors to look out for is how many units you have. If this sells 13,000 units, you have 10, you're not going to get as many buy box sales. Why? You don't have a lot of units. So your units are probably all in one city or state. So you're not going to be able to actually, get the same sales. Like, let's just say I'm in New York and I have 10 units in New York. California purchasers are not going to see my product because my products are not in California. And Amazon prioritizes Amazon Prime FBA sellers. FBA is usually what you want to do. This is when Amazon, you send your units into Amazon and they move it around through all the fulfillment centers to put it in the right place based on where the demand is. You don't have to do that. You send it into them and they figure out where the demand is. Like last year, we sold 720,000 units, single units, and almost all FBA. We have 2 people in our warehouse that work, right? Can you imagine 2 people dealing with 700? They would have came and rioted outside my door doing that many units, but we send it into Amazon, so Amazon handles the brunt of the work. It keeps your workload really light and you're able to generate more sales. So we know we have a good BSR. We know there's 4 other sellers. If we jump on, we'll be the 5th seller. All things being the same, we'll share the sales with the other 4 sellers. So easiest way to do this is, hey, this sells about 13,000 units a month. There's 4 sellers. We jump it as the 5th seller. We share the sales. You just divide this number by 5 and you can get an estimate for how many sales you can do with this product. And then from there, you want to do something called a test order. So whatever you estimate you can sell in a month, you probably get like a week's worth of products from your supplier just to test and make sure that things are selling well before you start ramping up to a full month. Generally speaking, you do not want to pack a month's worth of inventory though. You always want to keep it under a month because you want quick turnover. Amazon pays us every 2 weeks. We want our products to sell out within 4 to 6 weeks so we get them back with our profit. We're able to redeploy it and keep that cycle. So in here, what you would be doing with the buy course is figuring out what you need to pay for this product to actually get 20%. So let's just do we start playing with some numbers. Right now we're at a 20% margin. So let's do 13,000 divided by 5. $22,000, $828 in profit every damn month off this one product. But we don't stop there, right? We have to figure out when we buy safe. So we go down to something called a keeper chart down here. And this is a price history graph. You want to see what's the lowest cost it's been in the past few months that's been consistent. Okay, we've seen some drops down at 31, 30, but these drops are quick. They're like boop, boop. We want something that's been consistent for at least about 2 months before we make a decision. So we'll look about $39.25 as the low price. So we'll plug that in here, 39.25. So we know we gotta get this a little cheaper, right? We don't want a 10% margin. This is the most we could pay for this product because this is our minimum margin. If we're selling at today's price, we're gonna make 20% margin, which is what we're looking for at least. This is the most we know we could pay for the product. And this is so important because when you reach out to distributors and suppliers, they're gonna be giving you something called a price list, or they're just gonna give you, say, the price by email. But you need to know this number because if they ask you, hey, what do you want? And you're like, that's a problem, right? You got to be able to say, boom, I want this Jocko protein powder, 2.2 pounds. I can spend up to $22 per unit. I want 2,600 units a month. They're like, damn, you know everything already. All right, we're ready to go. We're ready to rock. You know you're serious. From here, we already found one product. Certain things you want to check before you go ahead and jump the gun is you want to make sure up here, all of these are like green, especially this one. This means you are eligible to sell the product. You're not always going to be eligible to sell every product. You might need to go through a process called ungating. What you're doing is you're getting your invoice from a supplier. It has to show your business name, their business name. This is why I said have a business. It has to show you purchased at least 10 units. Sometimes they recommend 100, but usually 10. And it has shown you paid for it. You always want to get on gated before you buy a product. So on the front end, you definitely want to get on gated before you go from your supplier and buy this. Some suppliers will give you an invoice ahead of time, like for our students that we sell some products to from our distribution company. We give them an invoice ahead of time. We get them on gated before they start selling to make sure, they can actually sell it. But once everything here is green and you see this green check, we're good to go. Once it has 3 or more FBA sellers, you're good to go. If it has 2 or 1, that generally means it's a private label product, or it just has an exclusive seller or 2 sellers. So we stay away from those when you first start. In addition, if Amazon is the only seller on the listing, you stay away from it. Amazon plays by their own damn rules. They just drop the price because they don't really care how much money they're making, and they can screw you over. So always look for listings that don't show Amazon on it. If you're not sure, you can click here and see if you see Amazon. Ships from Amazon means FBA, but if it says sold by Amazon, that's when we're like, all right, I'm good for now. When you get more advanced, you can start competing with Amazon, but at first you avoid them like the plague. What that looks like on the keeper chart is you'll see like this orange highlight under here that'll show you that Amazon is on the listing. If they're in and out of stock, like they're mostly out of stock, that's something you can do. But generally speaking, you don't want to see them on the list. So now we know we can sell this product. We know how much money we can make. We know how much the most we could pay for. We see that there's 3 or more FBA sellers. The best seller rank, remember that looks good. We have the green check. Now we are good to take this to the next level. What you want to do is you found a product to sell. So that's step 1. But what you want to do sometimes is go over here and actually look for other third-party sellers like you that are selling products. You always want to look for sellers with good positive reviews. Like this guy, he doesn't have a lot of ratings, probably does maybe like 50, maybe 100 grand a month, maybe. But he has really good reviews. This seller is the brand. We don't really look at them. They're going to sell other Jocko products, which you can look at, but whatever, we'll find out the Jocko products when we go to our supplier. This guy has pretty good reviews as well, but not a lot of ratings, pretty new seller, so we don't really want to look at them, right? You want to have at least 90% positive review, right? Because the better your reviews are, the more Amazon knows that you're a reliable seller. People don't give you a lot of returns. Your products are always in stock. So we look at good sellers. So let's look at this guy, Beyond E&M LLC. And if you click on Visit Storefront, now you're going to see some cool things. You're going to see all of the products they sell. And this is so important because when you have this, whatever's at the top of this list is generally speaking what's making them the most money. So you have another product here, boom. Amazon, it does say sold by Amazon. This is another tool called DS Quick View. And if you don't worry, I'm going through this quickly because I'm going to send you some resources that actually show you all the tools you need. So that's why I'm going through a little fast. But this is a product that makes them a lot of money. You might want to look into this when you go to your supplier and see if they have this. All you're doing is pretty much saying, I found one product, but these other people selling it. What are they selling and what can I get? So you're going through their whole catalog and really getting into the weeds and figuring out what exactly you should be selling. We know what products to buy, we know what price, but how do we actually start this and start making some money? But good old Google. What you want to do, find a category for your product. So this is a protein powder. You could search Jocko protein powder supplier or Jocko protein powder distributor, but that's a little too specific. What you want to do is say something like supplement supplier or supplement distributor, right? Broaden the range a little bit because sometimes these suppliers don't say that they sell this protein powder, but they can get it or they have it. The important part about that is you start local because you're gonna able to build the best relationships there. If you don't have a lot of success local, now you can expand outside the 4 main states, would be Texas, New York, New Jersey, where I'm at, or California, right? But every state has suppliers. You definitely want to make sure you start local first. When you put it on Google, so just going down, around. I see this guy, MSG Distributors. Okay, Muscle Foods is one. But all you're doing is right-clicking, open another tab. So you can actually see, okay, boom, Muscle Foods Distributor. So you can go here and hit become a customer, or you can grab their email, and then you can email them and say, hey, I'm XYZ, and I would love to open up a wholesale account with you so that I could buy this Jocko Wilkin powder. If you carry it at this price, I could do this many units. You put that in your first email, they know you're about business. They're super likely to respond because that sales rep at the other end of that's like, I'm trying to make some money, and you're trying to spend some money with me. So that's why you always want to go to supply. And you continue this process until you have a list of suppliers that you can now do business with. You know what products you want at what price, and you're able to start placing these orders. You send them to your prep center gets them sent, prepped, and send it to Amazon, and you start generating sales. This is how Amazon works. This is how you're able to scale up your Amazon wholesale business. Let me know in the comments if this is helpful. If there's any other videos you want to see, that always helps me just understand like what you guys want to make sure that, you know, I got you. This is another tool you can use called Smart Scout. There's a lot of ways to do this. It gives a bunch of information. So you can go to brands. You can search other sellers in your area. And I'll just go over a few of the tools. So if I go to brands, I can type in like Jocko, and it'll have Jocko Fuel. That brand does $3 million a month, right? That's what we like to see. That's honestly my favorite range, like we do 3 to 10 million really, because that means there's so much potential here to start making some money, right? You go to sellers. You can actually type in the name of that other seller, and you could go through their catalog. You can go here, go to offers, see what else they sell. You see one Jocko product's bringing them 15,000. This product is bringing them 8,000, and they're making good money, $83,000 a month just off a few, not that many products, honestly. And you're able to see what's making them money, so you can talk to your supplier and actually get those. You also have the seller map that you can actually use to actually find other sellers by you and see what they're selling. So there's a lot. This is a great tool. And then lastly, when you talk to a supplier, usually they have something called a price list. It's gonna have a bunch of something called UPC codes. That's the numbers under the barcode, and they're gonna have prices, and you're able to use something like here called a UPC scanner, and you're going to be able to actually scan that price list. It's going to take that UPC code, match it to the corresponding, what you call ASIN on Amazon. So if you look here on this tool, this is the ASIN. This is Amazon's identifier. So every listing has its own ASIN. It'll link that UPC code to the corresponding ASIN, and you'll be able to see, okay, how much money can I make per sale? Is it profitable or not? So you can take this huge list of tens of thousands of different products and see what's bringing you money and see what you need to order from your supplier. Not every supplier has your price list. Most do, but you always want to do this first. Scan that price list and start generating sales when you first start off. From there, you can do something like manual searching, like Jocko. So this is a manual search. Like if they didn't have it, you can actually look at their pricing and start searching up other Jocko proteins to see, like there's a 2-pack here. So if we get the chocolate and the vanilla, we could sell that together. Honestly, if this is how you're looking to get started in 2025, great model, very fun to scale, can be semi-automated. And honestly, if you're looking to jump into Amazon, for most people starting for e-commerce, this is the safest route and more scalable. So definitely hope this helped. If you're looking for more information and just getting help, I'll leave a link to our free course. I'm gonna leave a link to that prep video so you can see how to actually prep product. And also, if you're looking to apply for our mentorship program where we honestly take sellers and bring them up to 6-figure businesses in about 90 days, I'll leave that link below for those chosen few. We're working for about 5 to 8 people a month. So if you want to apply for that, feel free. But I hope this video will help, and see you in the next one.